Hello 7th graders. This is the video for LTR Phase 1 Biomes. This will most likely be your first video for LTR Phase 1. So, the first thing I want you to do is make sure that you have your LTR Phase 1 Biomes sheet in front of you. It should be the introductory worksheet. And I would like you to put your name, the due date, and your class period in the upper right hand corner of your worksheet. Next, we are going to go through the outline of the steps that you'll have for Phase 1 of LTR. Then go through some key terms, and shortly after that we'll give you an overview of each of the biomes that you can choose from for Phase 1. Now we're going to go over a brief overview of the biomes part of Phase 1. The first thing that you're going to complete is the intro video worksheet, which you should have out in front of you right now. The second one will be an aquatic biomes worksheet, which will go over all the terms that you need to know for the aquatic biomes, and will give you an opportunity to select your 2 favorite aquatic biomes. In the third part, you will complete an aquatic biome scavenger hunt on the 2 biomes of your choosing. Next, you will do the same thing for terrestrial biomes. You will get all the terms that you need to understand terrestrial biomes. And then the 5th one will have you select your 2 terrestrial biomes and to complete a scavenger hunt where you can learn more about those biomes. And last, you will do a biome reflection activity, reflecting on everything that you've learned about biomes in this unit and selecting your 2 favorites from the terrestrial and the aquatic biomes. So first off, you are probably familiar with many of Earth's biomes. There's the forest biome, found on your right, lake biomes, ocean, savanna, swamp, and the tundra biomes. We're going to be going over these in a little more detail later on in the presentation. And the definition of a biome is a large region characterized by a specific type of climate and certain types of plant and animal communities. Ecology is a broad and diverse field in science. This food web is an example of how organisms interact with each other. Ecology not only deals with how organisms interact with each other, but it is defined as the study of the interactions of living organisms with one another and also with their environment. The next term that we're going to define is the biotic factors. Biotic factors are simply the living factors in the environment. This refers to your producers, your consumers, and your decomposers. Besides the biotic factors, the living part of the environment, the abiotic factors are also crucial to the survival of organisms. Abiotic factors are the non-living part of the environment. Our next vocab word is terrestrial, and terrestrial just refers to organisms and processes that take place on land. The opposite of terrestrial is aquatic, and aquatic simply refers to organisms and processes that take place in water. And that concludes the key terms for the first video. And now we are going to go over a brief discussion of each of the 14 biomes that you can choose for LTR Phase 1. Now we're going to go over the 14 biomes that you guys can choose from. We're going to go pretty quick, so if you need to, you can go back and re-watch or pause. The first is the deep ocean. It's found out in this area. This is like the name implies, the very deep parts of the ocean. There's no plankton on the surface here, and these animals often get food that sinks from the ocean surface. Animals typically found here are many types of fishes and whales. Next is coastal waters and coral reefs. This is the part of the ocean that starts to slope downward, and the water is becoming deeper. Plankton are the major producers here, along with seaweed. And a couple of the major animals found here are dolphins and sea turtles. Shallow seas are where the ocean meets the land, found right here, Waves are constantly crashing on the shore, and animals here have adaptations to survive exposure to air and to keep from being washed away. Crabs and sea stars are found in this biome. Estuaries are where fresh water from streams is pouring into the ocean. The salt content here is always changing, and the water pouring in is very nutrient rich. So organisms here need to be able to withstand very changing environments. A couple animals found here are seahorses and the river otter. Swamps and marshes are wetland areas with plants growing in the waters. Swamps typically have trees and vines growing, while marshes are treeless and contain plants such as grasses. Alligators are an example of an animal that lives in swamps, and a painted turtle is an animal that lives in marshes. Rivers and streams are freshwater systems where water is flowing from either melting ice or snow, or a spring where water flows from underground to the Earth's surface. They can be found on every continent except Antarctica. Brook trout and the sockeye salmon are examples of animals that live in rivers. Next is lakes and ponds. Lakes have three zones: the littoral zone, which contains plants and is near the shore; the open water zone, which is the shallow part of deeper waters; and the deep water zone. This is the area where no sunlight reaches. Examples of animals found here are the muskellunge and the walleye. Now we are moving on to terrestrial biomes. First is the Arctic biome. This is a very cold region found at the poles and is generally made up of mostly ice. These are partially terrestrial and partially aquatic. The two animals found here are the polar bear and the emperor penguin. The tundra is the very cold region found in Canada and Siberia. It is found by the arrows on the map. This area is dominated by shallow, rooted plants. Some of the animals that live here are the wolf and the caribou. Coniferous forests, or the taiga, are dominated by conifer trees like the pine tree. They can be found here and here on your map. Two of the animals that are common here are the squirrel and the moose. Next are the temperate grasslands. Temperate grasslands have few trees, and as the name suggests, grass is the major vegetation. If you look at your arrow, these are found in parts of North America. Animals that live here are the bison and the prairie dog. A desert is an area that experiences very little water and is very hot. They can be found in places that receives little rainfall all around the world. Animals here have adaptations to remain cool and prevent water loss. Among these are the kangaroo rat and the fennec fox. A savanna is a grassland that has scattered clumps of trees and experiences seasonal rain. They are found in parts of Africa as well as other areas. Lions, zebras, giraffes, and hyenas are all found in the savanna. The last biome that we will be discussing is the tropical rainforest. Tropical rainforests are found in warm regions around the world. They are typically wet and humid. Some of the animals found here are the leopard, the toucan, and the orangutan. Now that you have had an introduction to 14 of Earth's biomes, I would like you to write 2 differences that you've observed between biomes and choose 4 of your favorite biomes that you would like to learn more about. This concludes the introductory video for the biomes of LTR's Phase 1.